Okay, this is another cornerstone in the little series I'm doing about photography basics. And we're in manual mode here, as you can see on this Fuji camera. And it's so sensitive, this camera, it really is. But anyway, have you ever wanted to know what these marks here, 13 was, or f3.1, or the ISO at 200? Well, these are the very essentials of photography itself. And if you want to take your photography further, you need to know them really. Even on automatic shots, you'll probably see if you're trying to get into photography, you're trying to see what all this means. You will find them even in automatic mode. If you put them into a photo editor, you'll find that your shots will have some of these numbers on. But so what we're going to do is we're going to go into manual, as I feel that's the best mode. And what it means, these things, we'll do the ISO first. That's probably the easiest thing to understand. So ISO 200. So what that basically means is that we can change this. We'll go and I'll explain right from, say, 6400. That is, I hope you can see that there. So 6400, 6400. What image would that really convey? Well, that would give the camera a lot of light, but the image would be absolutely terrible. And the reason for that is there'd be so much what we call noise. So there'll be lots of grain in your shots and really quite unusable. When that's the highest on this particular camera. When you're going down to something like 800, your shots will probably still be grainy. However, the quality of camera and things like that come into play. But at 800, shots can be usable. Above that, I tend not to use them at all. 400, now this is where you can really get some quality shots, and your shots shouldn't be really grainy at that under most circumstances. When you get underneath 400, 200, 100, and this camera actually has 64 on. 64 is something that will be absolutely clean as a whistle in comparison to the others. However, it's not giving the camera that much light. So really what you need to be in is 1, 2 and 400, and that is usually cameras start at around 100, but this one 64. At times I use that, but it's generally for night shot to do. Anyway, so basically the lower the number, 64 to 400 is a low number, which is the ISO. That is all usable and less grain. Above 800 and the shots become very grainy and in some cases unusable totally. Okay, so the other cornerstones here is this particular camera. I would say it's actually semi-automatic. It's even in manual mode. It's not the best camera in the world, but anyway. So what we can do with that is we just we go to the F number, and the F number is 3.1, and that's the lowest this particular camera has, and it goes up to F8. That's on no zoom, or the lowest zoom on this particular model. So F8 is basically things you can get with that is landscape photography. With F3 is you're trying to get, I don't know if you can see the numbers on there. What you're trying to do with F3 is to try and get where the focus and the background's out of sync. So you're getting things that's nearer, but then you're trying to get the focus, the background that's out of focus, which is blurred. F3 isn't really that good for that. You need to be something like f2.5. So basically what you're doing is you're letting lots of light in the camera. The lower the number, the higher the number, you're letting less light in. So for things like landscape, it is ideal. For things like for focus, for blurred backgrounds, it's not. So you really need to be down on your f number. Some cameras, more expensive models, they come with f1.8 and things like that, but that would get you great background focus. A lot of times you have to fudge that in photo editors and the like. But and the final thing for this is the seconds. This particular camera goes to I think it's 8 seconds. So we'll look at this left number here. Okay, so 8 seconds. What can we do with that? Well, that's a very slow shutter speed. Again, on this particular camera, because it's quite a cheap camera, it's not the best. So really what you would do with that is you're trying to get night shots with that. So things like car trails, cityscapes and the like, you would get with something that's something around like 2.5 seconds to 8 seconds. You would get decent shots there. Also, as the way you're going up, so that's in the dark. In the light, you're trying to get, I'm not quite sure where this camera goes to, but once it starts to get about 250, 200, 250, then that's for light conditions. So 250 is for, say, daylight, and good days you would even get as much as 1,000 to take them shots. This particular model goes up to 2,000. So that's for very light, very bright days, and that is really in a nutshell what you do. So on that particular one, on the left side on this camera, it's 2,000, which is the shutter value. So that is on Canon cameras, it's TV. It's time value, I think it's actually called. So basically, the higher number, that's for daylight. The lower number on that is into seconds, which is for night shots. On the aperture, f3.1 is the one that's letting the most light into the camera. When it's fully zoomed, I think this goes to f20, which again is for more landscape type of things. If you're trying to get macro mode in this actually particular camera has a super macro, so it doesn't really count on this one. But you're trying to get macro shots, maybe at f3.1 and the like. And the ISO, like I've said, is the lower the ISO, the less grain. The higher the ISO is really a no-no, so try not to go there on that. So thanks for listening, and thanks for watching again.